Hello, good evening ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Friday night is organ music night. I hope everything's all right with the stream. It looks a bit dodgy in my window here, which is rather weird. Does it look all right to you? As long as it sounds okay, that's the important thing, isn't it? But it looks a bit dodgy here, so I'm not sure what to do about it. I'm going to press some buttons here and see what that does. And hopefully it does something. One never knows. Let's see what happens. Does it look all right? Stream looks and sounds okay on my end, says Marek. Splendid, that's good. Okay, here says Michael Miller. Good, well that's fine. As long as it's okay for you guys, that's fine. It looks awful here. It could just be my internet. We've been having internet trouble the last couple of days. So as long as the upload is working fine, who cares about the download? Good. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Friday night is organ music night. And tonight is going to be a slightly different program to the one I had planned for one very simple reason. There will also be no overhead camera tonight for the same reason. I can't show you because some people are quite squeamish about these things. During this evening's cooking, I was being the cook this evening. Vanessa was away all week at university, and the loving husband that I am, I decided tonight, she's finally finished with her, she was in the lab all week at university. And that's finished now, so I've been taking care of everything all week. So tonight I cooked her favorite meal, which is lasagna. She loves lasagna. So I made a wonderful lasagna tonight. Well, I thought it was wonderful. But during the cooking process of the lasagna, I managed to, now thankfully I had the angle just right. I was chopping carrots and onions and celery and things, as you do. And I managed to shave off the end of my fingernail. My middle finger on the right hand. I managed to shave off the end of the fingernail. Now, it's not bad because I didn't cut into the flesh, it's not bleeding, but I opened the nail bed. So every time I play a note with my third finger, you get the picture? Every time I play a note with my third finger, it jams right, all the nerves in my right arm go crazy. So it's going to be one of those fun nights. I tried a plaster on it, but the plaster puts pressure on it, and that makes it worse. So I'm playing without any pressure on it tonight. I can't show you, I'm not going to, but there's a lovely sort of hole where the nail was, and it's sort of a very open nail bed. Now we've all heard of those torture things that used to happen during conflicts around the world where they would hammer bamboo shoots under people's fingernails to torture them. Well, yeah, it feels a bit like that tonight. So there we are, jolly good. Sharp knives are not your friend. Wrong, sharp knives are my friend. If it had been a blunt knife, it would probably have been a lot worse. Cheers, by the way. That's iced tea again from Italy, in case you're wondering. No, thankfully it is. I have very good sharp knives. I'm a bit of a hobby cook, you see, and I have very, very good sharp knives. And I'm glad I do, because if I'd used the knives that Vanessa uses, which are, I don't know what she does to knives. I really don't. Vanessa and my grandmother share a wonderful talent. I don't know how they do it, but every knife they touch. I'm not talking about knives for eating, proper chef's knives. I'm talking about. Both my grandmother and Vanessa have a wonderful knack of taking these knives and turning them into, I don't know, very blunt objects indeed. So she doesn't use my knives, and I don't know what she does with those. I think she takes them outside and hacks down trees with them or something to get them that blunt. I really don't know. But anyway, so no, thankfully it was very sharp, and it's a lovely clean cut. Beautiful clean cut. I'm very impressed with it, but it was just at precisely the right angle, which is annoying. So I had wonderful things planned for tonight, and I'm not going to tell you what they were because they'll come back when everything's back to normal. So tonight is going to be a spontaneous night of easy stuff, all right? So I hope you don't mind. So if you have any spontaneous easy stuff for me, you know what to do. Send it to gang@gartshore.de. You know how that works. You know how all that kind of stuff works. Send it over there, and I will see what I can do with it. I hope I will be able to incorporate it. Gosh. Anyway, now years ago, something very similar happened. I was, it may even have been another lasagna or something like that. I honestly can't remember. I was cooking something, I was cooking something at home, and I did the same thing, but it happened the other way round. I was doing it from the side rather than, you know when you're chopping vegetables, you should always have your fingers curved there and chop, 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 and it works perfectly. But tonight, for some reason, it just didn't work. But this time, years ago, I was chopping, for some reason, I was holding something like this, sideways, and I went bang, and I took off the entire top of my finger. Entire top of my finger was removed. Not very pleasant at all. It grew, well, sort of grew back together. I'm not going to say it grew back. It's slightly shorter than my middle finger on my left hand. And that was hell. That was hell. That really wasn't very good fun. And I was supposed to be playing in an organ competition at the time, and that didn't work, funnily enough. So that had to be cancelled. Some people thought I did it deliberately. had that been the case. That was quite horrible. And then years later, I did something very similar again and chopped the nail off. It's always this finger. It's always my right hand middle finger. And I was on tour with a band at the time somewhere in Germany. And I continued playing. I had a wonderful Tom and Jerry style bandage on my middle finger, which was quite amazing. So every time there was a photo of the band, I had my hands up like this, and this incredible Tom and Jerry style middle finger with a big white bandage on it was sticking out. And it's great because the bandage was so big, I could carry on playing without using my middle finger. Weird. Anyway, so yes, let's not worry about it. I'm not one of those people who sort of, oh God, woe is me, I can't do anything because I cut my finger. Who cares? These things happen. Life happens. Anyway, so we learned today lasagna can kill you. No. It didn't kill me. It just opened up my nail bed. So it's going to be a nice, painful concert tonight. Hope you don't mind. Anyway, right. So yes, Gleiswanderer, you were quite right. The first piece of music this evening was from the Brown Book of Magic. I wonder, oh look, who's this? Oh wow, cool. Velociraptor, I will come back to you in a second. Yeah, the first piece tonight was number 91 from the Brown Book of Magic. And Ursa, you know what to do, number 91. It's called Being Taught by God or something like that. That would be a kind of translation for it. That's a hymn, it's an actual hymn tune. But it's a great little number. We're on the organ of Landau again tonight, which is a town southwest of here where I live in Germany now. It's a beautiful organ. I know the organ personally, I know it very well. And this delicious sample set is the latest sample set. No, it's not. It's the second to present sample set from our friend Piotr Grabowski, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's very, very close. In fact, I think it's incredibly close to the actual original organ, especially the acoustic in the church. Let me show you what I mean by playing this wonderful old Irish melody hymn. Any Irish people in the audience tonight? If there are, then yes. Let's keep going if there are any Irish folks in the audience tonight. Now, I'm going to bump up the organ. We're going to start with a decent registration. I need to get all the way up to the trumpet. There it is. And we open up all my boxes here. Ha 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 ha! A nice big sound. Slain is the tune, is the title of the melody, and Be Thou My Vision is, of course, the text. If you want to sing along, please do. That's the best part of this organ, the acoustic in the church. Listen to that again, the final chord with all its naughty notes and things like that. Double pedals, several fingers in both hands, and the acoustic afterwards. And you get, if you listen very carefully, you get this sort of, I hope you're listening on decent speakers or very good headphones, because the sound sort of, you can feel it wash back at you. Listen to this. Sort of comes back and gets you. Ooh, it's lovely. Now the church itself, the church this organ is in, is enormous. It's one of the largest churches I've ever seen in my life. It's huge. If you packed it full, you'd probably have about 4,000 people in it. It's absolutely enormous. I don't mean stacking them on top of each other, but you know, people with actual seats and place to stand or sit. Yeah, it's huge. It's an old garrison church. Absolutely enormous. Absolutely wonderful, absolutely beautiful, and the acoustic is just dreamy, dreamy, dreamy. The organ is up at the west end on its balcony and speaks right through the church, and it does have it has the softest sounds you've ever heard in any organ. These swell strings here are the softest sound you've ever heard. In the real building, they're actually a lot softer than that, even sitting at the organ. But the beautiful part of it is the acoustic. And the sample set has pretty much the feeling of being in the church, which is good. Now, we're going to be talking about sample sets a lot tonight, folks. I wonder why. But yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. If you ever get the chance to go to Landau in Germany, in southwest Germany, just go to a Sunday service in the church or something. It's phenomenal. It really is. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Anyway, oh, what's going on over here? Oh, tickets have been bought already. Thank you, folks. What's been going on here? Who's this? This is, oh, another one has just arrived as well. Jerry. Hello, Jerry. Thank you very much, Jerry. Who's this? Alexander. Thank you, Alexander. That's very kind of you. Stefan. Thank you very much to Stefan as well. And one's just arrived here. Oh, we haven't changed it yet. Look, it's still saying, for our bundle of joy on her christening day. Well, that was last Sunday. It was the christening of our little bundle of joy. Jürgen. Thank you very much, Jürgen. Our friend Jürgen. Jürgen ist wieder da. Schön, dass du wieder da bist. Yay. Geht's dir gut? Ich hoffe es. Cool. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you very much. I will check back on that in a moment. In the meantime, on with the music. Let's have a look and see if there have been any bizarre, spontaneous requests. Oh, there have been. Right, what's this? Hold on. I've just spotted a really fun one. What on earth is this? That's an interesting version of that. Our friend Joshua McCready has sent me something rather interesting. Joe has sent me something hilariously funny, and that's good, because that's something we will have to go. Oh, and somebody bought me a cup of coffee as well. Thank you to someone who bought me a cup of coffee. All right, let's go with Joe's first of all. Our good friend Joe has requested theme and variations on a certain piece of children's music, and that's hilariously funny, because this, how did you know, or did Vanessa tell you this? Because this is actually one of the favorite pieces of music of our little bundle of joy. There's a YouTube video of this very piece of music, and we have to listen to it several times a day. We don't sit here in front of YouTube, don't worry, it's music in the background. In fact, you can hear her crying in the background even as we speak. She's tired, she needs to go to bed. Will she go to bed? Will she? How? Anyway, here's this piece of music. Let's play around with it. Let's be experimental with the organ. Right, see if you can work out what it is. Joe knows what it is. I'm not going to tell anyone else though. there you are. Something bizarre. Joe requested theme and variations on Itsy Bitsy Spider Climbed the Water Spout, which is, funnily enough, one of our little daughter's favourite tunes at the moment, especially the German version of it. Die klitzekleine Spinne. It's the same melody, but they've changed the words. And the thing ends in a rather bizarre way. The German version of it, it's a very scared spider. The spider gets scared by various things. It comes out and then there's suddenly a rain shower, like the English version. And this spider scurries back to its little hidey hole. And then the second verse is, I don't know, it's riding on a horse and it gets scared because the horse bolts or something like that. The third verse, it's on a beach building a sandcastle. Why a spider would be building a sandcastle, I don't know. And then the fourth verse is the nice verse, and it ends up with the spider's mother giving the spider a lovely big kiss, and they end up going on holiday on a big bus. I'm not making it up, that's the German version. It's really rather weird. Anyway, there you go. That was Incy Wincy Spider. That was very interesting. Thank you, Jeff. It was, wasn't it? Do you like that effect, by the way? I caught you out at the beginning because I was playing, what key was I playing in the beginning? E flat. But with this, what was I doing? There was some kind of weird harmonic thing going on. What was that? Something like that, I don't know. And then I had this thing going on. Now that, look at this, here's a C. Oh, let's play a, yeah, it doesn't matter. And this, I'm going to play the same note as C here, but, oh, hold on a minute. That's not sounding like a C. That's tuned like an E, but a very, ooh, a sharp E. A sharp E, get it? And if I mix that with another one, I get some strange effects. And likewise, I get some strange effects if I do this as well. Modern improvisation. Just use funny stops and make funny noises, and it kind of works. It's cool though, isn't it? Nice effect. 2 2/3, 1 3/5. No, that would be far too nice. No, that was this. That's 2 8-foot stops, a 1 3/5, and a 1 1/7. So I'm actually playing. Well, if you imagine it on a normal stop, that would be playing this and that all at the same time. Yeah, weird. Okay, it's a bit weird, but that's. And it gives a sort of a metallic effect. That's your water spout. Your water spout is kind of metallic. And that's a spider crawling around. And that's just a 32-foot effect. What's my friend Yellowbird has come up once again. He always manages to come up with some weird and wonderful piece that fits the day. So I carve half my finger off, and suddenly he finds a piece of music that fits that. Go figure. Platt's gang have been busy on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you very much indeed. Wonderful. And a partridge in a pear tree, says Tim. Yes, there you go. Anyway, cool. This organ can do it all. It's basically a German romantic organ. It's got that lovely, big, luscious, big, fat. Where's my big, fat sound? There you go. There's a big, fat sound. And a big fat acoustic, but it will also do, like I say, this incredibly soft stuff, but it will also do this gorgeous stringy stuff. The Wanamaker organ in Philadelphia, with its strings and its vox humana. It does it all. I love it. I think it's a wonderful instrument. It's got, instead of a trumpet, it's got something called a tuba mirabilis, which isn't a tuba mirabilis. That's just another name for a trumpet on there. You hear the word tuba and you think, ooh, but the big trumpet here. Now, if you mix that with the big open diapason, it almost sounds like a tuba. Almost. It has a tuba 16, which isn't again. which isn't a tuba, it's just a big trumpet. And it has the most beautiful clarinet you've ever heard. You need a tremulant for it. There it is. You can play cowboy music with that quite nicely, couldn't you? That'd be good. You could play very nice cowboy music with this. Get off. Sort of lonely cowboy music. I love that. I think that's beautiful. Anyway, it's a very versatile organ. You can do lots with it, and let's find out. Right, let's have a look at Yellowbird's bizarre request. I think I've sent it over to my machine. Let's have a look and see if it's arrived in the machine. Oh, look, there's some spaghetti sauce on the machine from my cooking this evening. Or is it blood? No, no. This is a piece of music by someone called Billy James, writer of Carolina Mammy. I don't know what Carolina Mammy is, but hey, look up Carolina Mammy, Yellowbird, see if you can find that for me, and we'll play that. And we'll dedicate that to Joe as well, Carolina Mammy. Well, we'll dedicate that to Marie in that case, won't we? But yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Rum dum 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 dim dum 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 po. This is a piece of music. He's obviously taking the piss because I sliced my nail off tonight. And this piece of music is called Cut Yourself a Piece of Cake and Make Yourself at Home. Shall we look at the words? The words are probably naughty. Verse 1. My friend Jonesy, he got married just the other night. Why would you get married at night? Jonesy was a man who had an awful appetite. His wife went to cooking school but only learned to bake. It's one of these old-fashioned songs, I can tell. When he kicks about the meals, she says, John, for goodness sake, just cut yourself a piece of cake and make yourself at home. I'm sorry that I can't cook steak, but cake is so high-toned. Don't know what that means. You'll get corns and bunions from eating Spanish onions. So cut yourself a piece of cake and make yourself at home. What an awful piece of music. This is it's actually from 1923. That's quite late for this kind of drivel. But let's play it and see what it sounds like. I hope the melody's better than the words. Anyway. I'm not into political correctness in any way, shape or form, but things like this really do just take the biscuit, don't they? Let's have a look then. Carolina Mammy may be politically correct these days. Good, send it over. awful piece of music. It's good fun though, isn't it? I love these kinds of things you always get at the bottom of these pieces of music. Feist songs. I'm not sure what a feist song is, in inverted commas. Feist songs are also obtainable from your dealer. That's got a very different meaning nowadays, isn't it? Available from your dealer for your talking machine or player piano and for band, orchestra, etc. Your talking machine. Feist songs are also obtainable from your dealer for your talking machine. Why don't they say things like that anymore? 75 songs you can't forget in the folio. Good old timers, 50 cents at your dealers or order direct. Something new and different. 75 songs we have forgotten, which is probably better. I'm thankful for it. What a bizarre piece of music. Unzip a banana, brown bread. What in God's name is that all about, Jez? A bizarre piece of music. I love bizarre pieces of music. More. Send them. Politically correct or otherwise, I don't care. By the way, in case you're new and wondering why on earth I'm playing this kind of music on this kind of organ, I do this for a living. And when I played this organ, the real organ in the church in Landau, I was invited to play a concert of jazz music on that actual organ, which I did, which I loved. And the audience couldn't believe it. Actually, the audience were having great fun because they were getting stoned on wine at the same time. It was wonderful. What's this? What the hell is this? Oh, I don't know. Let's have a look. Yeah, it was one of those. Landau is a wine country in Germany. It's wonderful. Very good wine from that part of the world. And they were having a wine tasting, a wine drinking, a very boozy night in the church. And people, they were getting absolutely plastered. And I was in the background playing wonderful tunes. It was a very bizarre evening. The church was all sort of lit up and beautiful. You know that picture, do I have it here? I've probably got it here somewhere. There's a picture of me that I use in quite a lot of my online stuff. It's of me sitting in a church and it's all beautifully lit up in blue and red in the background and things. I'm wearing my Prince of Wales check suit, I think, and it's all sort of lit up in the background. It's rather lovely. That's Landau, and that was during one of these piss-ups in the church. It was absolutely wonderful. It really was. I'm not sure if the same priest is there, but the priest who was there at the time, he loved all that kind of stuff. He believed in that kind of stuff. It got people visiting the church, I'll tell you that. It got bums on seats. It worked perfectly. Right, what's this? This is an piece of music, and let's find out if there's a story behind it. Yellowbird bought some coffees. Thank you, very kind. Tar. Right, what is it? Oh, this is this. Right, what's this? Urza Mayer, birthday request. Aha. Right, okay. This is an emotional piece of music. Am I allowed to say, Urza, am I allowed to say who this piece of music is for? Urza, answer me in the chat. Am I allowed to say who this is for? Are we getting an answer? Are we getting an answer? Here's waiting for answer music. Ah, I am allowed to say. Good, fine, wonderful, okay. I shall read you the message then. Translate it spontaneously. Hi, Fraser. It's my better half's birthday today. Aha, so there we are. It's Urza Mayer's better half's birthday today. I won't mention his name, but never mind. And she's looked at a piece of music. Let's find out if it works on the organ. It's a piece of music, right, let's have a look. It's from a computer game. It's called Mass Effect. Not sure what that's all about. Maybe that's drinking wine in church. That's a Mass Effect as well, isn't it? Same thing. And apparently he loves this game, this computer game called Mass Effect. It's a melancholy piece of music, but it's played at the emotional end of the game. Right. I'm assuming if there are any gamers out there, you will know what all of that means. I have no idea because I don't think I've ever played computer, well, when I was young we had computers, and there were, well, when I say games, yeah, we're talking the 80s here, so no, but all these computer games, I really don't get it. But never mind, a lot of people do and spend huge amount of time and resources and money on these games, and the music in these games is a huge industry, an absolutely enormous industry. So let's see what this is all about then. This is a piece of music called An End, Once and For All, written by 3 people. No, it was written by 2 people. Clint Mansell. That sounds like someone who should be in the Gartshore gang chat. Clint Mansell from, I don't know, where's Clint Mansell from? Clint Mansell is from Northern California, I would say, with a name like that, wouldn't you? Sam Hulick. Sam Hulick is from Idaho? I don't know, he's not. No, Sam Hulick is from, where's Sam Hulick from? With a name like that. Where would you place someone with a name like Sam Hulick? Hulick. Sam Hulick. He's from, I don't know where he's from. New Jersey. And it was arranged by someone called Torby Brand. Torby Brand is definitely from Connecticut. Torby Brand. You can just see what Torby Brand is wearing and you know what kind of parents he's got. Tennis and horses are involved. Torby Brand. Anyway, right, let's see what this is all about. Well, we have to do a happy birthday, don't we? Happy birthday. We'll sing happy birthday, and we'll sing happy birthday. What name can we use for happy birthday? Uza, what name can we use for happy birthday? Give us a name that we can use for happy birthday. It can be a funny name, it doesn't have to be a real name. Let's have a funny name for happy birthday. Is Uza paying attention? I hope she is. Sam Hulick is from Gary, Indiana. Well, there you are. Is that true, Lucian? Have you looked that up? Or are you making that up like I just made that some kind of thing up? All right, we can call him Nüsschen, which means little nut. As in nut, not nut as in wee-hoo, but nut as in sort of peanut, walnut, that kind of nut. You know the sort of thing I'm in? So Nüsschen, happy birthday, dear Nüsschen. Yeah, let's do that then. All right, and then we'll launch into this, so work this one out. an interesting piece of music. I think you could do a lot more with it. I'm sure I'll have to go and have a listen to the real thing and see if we can play around with that a bit more. I like the rhythmic bit there. Cool. Yeah, something different. Something different. Mike King, super chat on the way. There were some other super chats earlier that I forgot to mention. Let me say thank you to you. Velociraptor. Hi Fraser, here's a donation to put towards the organ preservation task. Thank you. Quite the undertaking. Tell me about it. Would you also consider doing a 4K film of each organ? I'm going to be doing that anyway for posterity's sake. We're losing so much of our culture these days. That is sadly true, Velociraptor. You are sadly right. I'll come back to that in a second. Wolfgang König, thank you for your tip too. And Jim Castagnete. Thank you very much for your tip as well at the beginning this evening. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, now, Velociraptor, thank you. You have brought me onto the world of organ sampling stuff. And yes, we are running out of time on our sampling. How are we doing? Oh, we're getting there, slowly but surely. Let me just do a sum there, divided by... Whoops. Why does this not work sometimes? There we are. 94%. Right, there we are. We've reached 94% of our Start Next funding. Now, the 94% is, well, it's not 100%, is it? It's not quite 100%. And we only have about 24 hours left to go. 24 hours left to go. Now, once this crowdfunding campaign is over, the offers that are available will no longer be available. Haha. Those offers will end forever. So, a number of generous people have been very active in the last few days, snapping up some of the things, the thank yous, the Dankeschöns on offer and on the crowdfunding campaign. There it is over there. And yeah. Now, a lot of people have been in touch and sort of said, oh, this is great that you're doing this, and I really hope you get to 100%. Well, here's the funny thing. The 100% is the minimum. It's the minimum, yeah? We have to get the 100% to make the whole thing work. That's the minimum. Everything above that is, that's where it becomes fun, because that's when I can start building reserves so that I can then go to not just organs that need to be saved, but I can go to really big, fancy, famous organs and say, hello, can I sample your organ, please? And put down a donation to the organ. And that's important. When I started out talking about or researching sampling organs and things like that, a number of instruments are quite happy to be sampled for free. That's not a problem, but there are a lot of instruments out there, they've cottoned onto the fact, hold on, if he's going to be sampling this organ and selling it for a couple of $100, we're not getting anything from that. Well, theoretically, they're getting publicity from that. But yes, some of that money could, of course, go towards the organ fund, towards helping out maintenance of the organ and things like that. But in the cases where the organs are about to disappear forever, obviously that's a different thing. The funding that's going on here, that's basically to get me there, to get these organs recorded. Like I say, we have 17 organs in total waiting to be sampled. One of them has been recorded now. So I'm busy working on that, turning it into a sample set. And the other 16 are on the waiting list. I hope by the end of year to get 5 of them recorded. Now that means not 5 sample sets for the end of the year, but that means 5 of them recorded and ready by the end of the year. That's going to be quite a task, and there's a lot of travel and and stress involved, especially with one of them, because one of those instruments may actually be removed from the building it's in. I have to say that very carefully. Be removed from the building it's in earlier than was originally planned. And I just found that out the other day, and that's kind of worrying because at the time I was hoping to record another instrument that's also going to be disappearing. This one might be disappearing forever and ever and ever. So there's going to be some working out going on there. Now, to this end, tomorrow night, we're going to have the final 2 hours of the crowdfunding campaign. We're going to do a live concert, okay? We're going to have a live ticker for the final 2 hours tomorrow night. Push. Let's push this thing, and let's do it. All right. So tomorrow night, Saturday night, we will have what the hell has happened to my cable here? It's stuck on something. Get off. All right. We'll have a final 2 hour countdown of our. What the hell has happened to this? My headphones are falling apart. These are bloody expensive headphones. Look at this. It's just fallen apart completely now. Super. They've never fallen down. I'm always very careful with my equipment, but both cans both cans are cracked. Now I'm going to be, because they're not old at all, they're still well under guarantee, so I'm going to be claiming on the guarantee from the makers here. I think that's absolutely disgraceful. Now this foamy bit and this other bit that joins it, that's basically come completely undone and it's falling apart. I think that's a disgrace. Now okay, I have some gel in my hair to keep it down. If I don't put stuff in my hair, by the way, it's Einstein, okay? So I have some stuff in there, so maybe that's sort of, you know, but that should not dissolve, you know, that kind of stuff. That's weird. But yeah, not the usual biodynamic quality, and these were bloody expensive. But don't worry, guarantee is still there. So that's that. Anyway, right, so if you haven't already checked it out, go and check out the crowdfunding campaign for this organ preservation project. And to all those of you who say, yes, but people are buying you tickets every week and things like that. Well, yes, this is completely separate. This has nothing to do with that. These are two separate enterprises. And I'm keeping it that way deliberately. So the organ sampling thing will be basically it's going to be like a full-time job for the next God knows how long, years. It's wonderful. But it's going to be a full-time job. And eventually it will pay for itself. I hope, fingers crossed, I hope it will eventually pay for itself. That's the whole point with that. But to get the ball rolling, we need a little injection. But all this stuff, the YouTube stuff on the other side, this is all separate stuff. This is all completely separate. Right. Oh my goodness me. Anyway, right, here we go. Let's move on to the world of fun music. It's 11:20. Gosh, time is flying. And here's a piece of music requested by a good friend. And we've played this a few times, but I love playing this and turning it into, if I can find, I don't need the music, but I want to find it anyway. Oh, there it is. Turn me winky blinkies off so that doesn't move. All right, this is a wonderful piece of music. Duke Ellington, Barney Bigard, and Mr. Mills, the thieving con artist who conned Duke Ellington out of a lot of his money back at the beginning. Anyway, but never mind. He claimed to be the publisher for Duke Ellington, but he was taking the lion's share. Anyway, this is a wonderful piece of music back from late 20s, 1930s, something like that. Very famous piece of music, and I like playing it as a kind of, I'm not going to say trio sonata because that sounds far too complicated, but like a kind of trio. And we need, is that the right, I don't want to play it in that key, I want to play it, I'll play it in that key first, then I'll transpose it. Oh, I quite like that, that's nice. Yeah, that's a nice sound, isn't it? Let's have... let's have that as the melody, and then we want some doobie-doobs down in the bass, and we need a third one. What do we need for this? Big flute, maybe. Yeah, there we go. How about that? Here's a wonderful piece of music from Duke Ellington, etc., from a long time ago, Mood Indigo, or if you're from Australia, Moody Dingo. Mood Indigo. Oh, yes, 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 yes. A request has come in. Let me have a look. Oh my God. What? Ah. Oh, good that I didn't say anything then. Secret. Okay, God. Let's have a look and see if we can do. I have no idea what this is. This could be interesting. I really don't know what this is even. What on earth is happening here? Go away. No, right, fine. All right, I'm not allowed to tell you what this is. I'm not allowed to tell you who it's for. I'm not allowed to tell you anything. I am, however, allowed to tell you that the request came in from our friend Dominic. Other than that, what am I allowed to say? It's all in German, so I have to translate. Okay, right. Okay. It's in connection with Ursa and Ursa's better half's birthday today, and it's from Dominic. That's all I'm allowed to tell you. I have no idea what this is going to be. It could be rather interesting. It looks quite easy, so let's find out. Bum, bum, bum. I have no idea. We shall work it out. Anyway, I hope you two know what it's all about. Let's find out. Don't ask, I don't know. But it's a fun tune nonetheless. Let's see if has anyone done anything about it. Does anyone recognize it? Almost feels familiar. Yeah. Good. I doubt it. It's a very simple tune. It's from a German film. There we are. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. No idea. Splendid. All right, now here's this piece of music. Oh my goodness me. Oh, no. We found it. Yellowbird has found the piece of music we asked for earlier, Caroline and Mammy. And no, it's got nothing to do with those things, but it's... who's this? There's a picture of somebody there that you would not trust nowadays. Jack Burke, his name is. Well, with a name like that, you wouldn't trust him. He's the director of the Arcadia Orchestra in the Arcadia Dance Hall. Right, you can't go wrong with any Feist song. Oh, now I get it. Feist is the publisher, Leo Feist. Right, I'll work that one out. Leo Feist. Anyway, here's the piece of music in question. Did it arrive here? It didn't, of course. You always have to sort of switch that off and back on again, and then it should this time it should come in. There it is. Right, the Carolina Mammy. The words are not as awful and racist as you think. This is from 1922. Mammy, Mammy, I'm hurrying home. I'm tired of roaming, tired of being alone. Ah. Mammy, Mammy, won't you comfort me? Take me in your arms again, that's where I want to be. Carolina, Mammy, I'm longing for you. Carolina, Mammy, I'm lonesome and blue. I'll tell you, Mammy, I've found it's true that there's nobody in this wide, wide world that loves me like you do. There you are. Fairly harmless stuff. It sounds like the awful sort of thing that Al Jolson should have been singing, doesn't it? Anyway, never mind. Let's see what this is. It's in the key of C major. The last one was in C major as well. Billy James's music tends to be in C major. I wonder why. Bizarrely awful tune, but kind of cute, I suppose, at the same time. Note to self, don't play wild arpeggios with half a nail missing and your nail bed open. It hurts like hell. It's Korean torture, if you ask me. Anyway, right. Ow is the only word I can think of. Ow. Right, what am I missing in the background? I don't know. I haven't said hello to everyone in the chat, have I? Let's go back and say hello to people in the chat. And also, oh, hold on a minute. I suppose I could also go and see if people have been ticketing as well. Ooh, we have a few tickets have arrived. Let's have a look. Who's this? Nancy. Thank you very much, Nancy. That's very kind. Who's this? I was about to read out a name, but it's not. It's Urza. Thank you very much, Urza. I like the amount. Very bizarre. Thank you very much indeed. And who's this? Jan as well. Schmerzensgeld. A bit of pain money. Thank you, Jan. I like the idea of pain. Well, I don't like the idea of pain money, no, but you know what I mean. Thank you very much. Very kind. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, I got a nervous shiver there. Wow. Ooh, that really hurt. You know when you get something, nerve pain, and it goes right through you. Oh, I just did that there. Oh, bloody hell, that was not nice. Ooh, well, that shot right through the right-hand side of my body there. That was not nice. Okay, thank you. Oh, the fun I go through to be with you tonight. Oh, our friend Kip is here this evening. Our friend Kip, you sent me a piece of music, didn't you? I think that's something for Sunday, though. Where was that, my friend? There it is. Kip sent me a wonderful piece of Icelandic music. Let's do that on Sunday. Let me just mark that so I don't forget. In fact, no, I won't mark it. I'll pop it in there, and then I won't forget it. Perfect. Let's do that on Sunday. Kip, are you here on Sunday? I hope so. I'm hoping on Sunday I'm back together again. Be careful with knives. Oh, no, I've been using knives for years, and I will continue to. This is the 289 live show. A lot of lives here. What's the 289 live show? I have no idea. Splendid. Hold on. Let me just quickly go back here and then go back there. There we go. That's it. Ouch. What was I going to be playing? Oh, yes, I was going to be playing. Hold on. I'm going to take my watch off. I hope you don't mind. I need a bit more blood flowing. I don't know. Maybe this is not a good idea. Maybe I should keep that off. I don't know. Right. Let's go back to these tunes here and see what we can get away with here. Let's. Actually, this is quite a good tune. This works out perfectly with my stupidity tonight. And the old story we used to tell, there it is, the old stories we used to tell when we were playing jazz tunes in jazz bands. How are we doing for time? It's 20 to 12. I think it's time to move to theatre organ land, don't you? Let's move to theatre organ land. Oh, actually, theatre organ land's dangerous because I tend to get carried away. But this piece of music will fit perfectly to theatre organ land. If there's any tune you find in the jazzy world or the pop world where the word love crops up, then you have to change it to lunch. And this one works absolutely perfect. It's called Careless Love from W.C. Handy. And you just change it then, it becomes Careless Lunch, which in my case is almost right. It was Careless Dinner tonight. So it's Careless Lunch. Careless Love, a beautiful old tune from W.C. Handy from 1921, 22, I'm guessing, early 20s. I used to, these are the things I used to memorize when I was younger. I used to memorize years of things. Also, I used to memorize sort of, composers' birthdays and things like that. Useless information. In those days, we didn't have the internet, you see, so you had to remember things. Nowadays, it's just there. In the old days, it used to be called knowledge is power. Remember that? Knowledge is power. But now it's access to knowledge is power. Simple as that. Anyway, here we go. Careless Lunch. Careless lunch, followed by this. Nothing can be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. That's a very naughty song that we used to sing. I used to know a girl called Carolina, and every time we saw her, we could say, nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning, and she used to slap us, which was probably a good thing. Anyway, we were naughty in those days. In those days, you could be naughty and get away with it. Nowadays, you can't fart in public with that and get away with it. It's awful. Actually, that's not true. Things like that probably shouldn't have taken place even back in those days. But we saw it with some fun, and you got a slap, and that was all right. And then everyone was all right. What happened to just giving people a good slap? Stop it. I'm going to be in trouble, aren't I? Talking about clap, here's one called Clap Hands. Here Comes Charlie. Again, ignore the words. Clap hands, here comes Charlie. And for some reason that didn't hurt. Maybe playing naughty tunes is better. We like naughty tunes. Yes, 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 yes. Back in the 1950s. Is it in here? Is it in here? I'm sure it is. Let's find it. Back in the 1950s, in the desert of Nevada, a city sprang out of not very much. That city was, of course, Las Vegas. And there it is. And Las Vegas spawned all sorts of entertainment. And before the days of the Rat Pack, so Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin and all that lot, even before Elvis and all that kind of stuff, there was one entertainer who was Mr. Las Vegas, basically. Actually, does anyone know, here, before I tell you who it is, anyone know who I'm talking about? This is before Frank Sinatra, before all of these people, before Elvis, any of that kind of stuff. In fact, the guy we're about to play a tune a tune that he sang, he kind of introduced Elvis to Las Vegas, believe it or not. Mo Green, no. Las Vegas has always been connected to, well, shall we say, the Italian world, and the chap we're thinking about here is an Italian immigrant singer to the United States. Wayne Newton, good God, no. No. Guy we're talking about, he was the best paid entertainer until Elvis overtook him one day in the 1970s. He was an amazingly popular singer. He, bit of a naughty boy. There you go, Rasbaz got it. Louis Prima, that's the chap. Bit of a naughty boy. But he was very famous for having an amazing voice. And Louis Prima was always a bit annoyed in the world that he wasn't as recognized as Louis Armstrong. Because Louis Prima, like Louis Armstrong, came from New Orleans originally. And Louis Prima always wanted to be recognized as much as Louis Armstrong. However, his Las Vegas image and all the kind of fun music, it was all just very fun, entertaining music. It was all sort of very tongue-in-cheek and not very serious. He was a bloody good trumpeter. He was an incredibly good singer. He was a very good arranger. He had an absolutely amazingly tight band. Oh my goodness, they were absolutely amazing. Sam Butera was his saxophone player. And it was one of the tightest bands that you'd ever heard. And he was famous for taking the Louis Jordan, the Louis Jordan style. You know, can I get a piano on here? Let's get a piano, please. Where's my piano? Can I have a piano, please? There's a piano. Let's just get rid of that. You know, all this... that kind of stuff, yes. And he would sing, Buonasera, Signorina, Buonasera. And then it would go into... all that kind of stuff. And he took that Louis Jordan stuff. Now, the Louis Jordan style was more of a... it had a slight more swing to it. The Louis Prima stuff had a bit more edge. It's very difficult to do. A bit more edge to it. You have the bass notes are a bit longer in the Louis Prima style, and it goes a lot faster at times. However, he came up with all sorts of wonderful stuff. He was the voice of King Louis in the Jungle Book. And it was Louis Prima that suggested to Walt Disney that Phil Harris should do the voice of Baloo the Bear, because Phil Harris, who had been a wonderful jazz singer back in the 20s and 30s, had just basically become a sort of a almost forgotten an almost forgotten sort of country singer in the meantime, in the 40s and things like that, and the 50s. But Louis Prima sort of got him back into things around the sort of the 60s, and that's when he got back into television in a big way and films, and got to be the voice of Baloo the Bear. And then was it Thomas the Alley Cat? What was the Alley Cat's name? You know the one I mean. And the other Disney one where Phil Harris was Robin Hood as well, wasn't he? Anyway, never mind. I digress. Here's a famous piece of music that Louis Prima sang. I'm not going to do it in Louis Prima style. At least I don't think so. I don't want to, but we might have to. It's Clarence Williams. It's a very old song. Very old song. I think it's around the time of the First World War, if I'm not mistaken. Very old song. Certainly the teens, definitely before the 20s. And it's got a verse which nobody plays. And then the chorus you all know. Sing along if you know the words. And the old Louis Prima ending. Ba 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 beep ba ba da. Oh yes. Ooh, I don't know if I have this. Let's have a look. Otherwise, it'll be a Sunday. I don't think so. Okay, I won't even mention it. We'll do that on Sunday. Let me quickly mark that as well, so that I've got it, mark it in red, so that I know to mention it. I'll have a look for that for Sunday. I won't mention anything about it, and we'll do it on Sunday. How about that? Or maybe even tomorrow. We shall find out. Splendid. A nice one. How are we doing for... Oh, it's almost midnight, ladies and gentlemen. We need a final number. A final number. Here's something from the 1920s that nobody ever plays, and I think it's a terrible shame because it's a rather lovely melody. It's called Softly as the Morning Sunrise. I bet nobody recognised that. Does anyone know that? Bet nobody knew that. It's a nice tune, a really nice tune. Folks, ladies and gents, it is gone midnight, which means I am going to disappear. Oh, hold on, a ticket would appear to have arrived. Who dis? Let's have a look. That was Urza. Who's this? Lucian. Thank you very much, Lucian. And who's this? Dominic. Haha. Thank you very much, Dominic, as well. Very kind. Ticket and a fat thank you, he says, for playing his thing tonight. Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And continued get better to you too. Our friend Dominic is under the weather, suffering from man flu or something similar. I hope you don't mind me saying that. Something like that. Right, now normally this... Oh, hold on, I was going to look at something else. That's why I was digging my telephone out. Are we... Ooh, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost about to reach... Hold on, let me check that again. That's so close. 99.66% we've reached this evening. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We're very close. So that's it. So $30 to go on the start next, and 100% has been reached. Haha. And that's where the journey really starts. Yes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, something on the... I'll be talking about this tomorrow as well, but something that's on there is... It's very simple. If you want $6,000 worth of kit for $1,000, then ta-da! It's there, all right? It's on there. Go and get it. Go and get it. It's wonderful. 6 people now have taken that offer. 6 people have taken that offer. It's limited to 20. Now, that sounds like a stupid amount of money. But you know, it's an offer, all right? It's an offer, and it's a genuine offer for genuine stuff, and a minimum of 6,000 euros worth of kit for 1,000 euro investment. That's not a bad investment, I think. If I saw something like that, I would take it. But hey, come on. You know what it's all about. Final piece of music for this evening. My choice. My choice. Final piece of music for this evening. Let's find... Yeah, let's have this. No, let's not have this. That'll be copyrighted because the guy is not that long dead. So we'll not bother with that. Let's have... Oh, I was going to get carried away with something, but that's probably not a good idea. How about this? I don't think anyone plays this. Irving Berlin. A lovely Irving Berlin tune from the 20s. I think we need some different Reggies here. Let's change my registrations quickly. There we go. Click. That's better. There's a piano in this one. There we go. Yeah. Do you know Irving Berlin could only play the black keys on the piano? It's all rubbish. That's not true. But apparently he did, and he had a mechanism where he could transpose his piano into different keys, and he would allegedly just play the black keys. What a load of rubbish. Because the tunes he composed were not all just pentatonic. If they had been, then you could sort of say, well, that's fair enough. That's the black keys on the piano. David Stevens, I'm hoping he sells them after the samplings have been... Yes, of course. This is the crowdfunding to get the ball rolling. This is just the immediate investment to get things going. Like I say, to get the recordings done, to go to these locations, to pay for recording. I can't just walk into a church and say, hello, can I record your organ, please? And then sell it for profit. That's what this is all for. And of course, once the sample sets will be released to the general public later on. But not at the same offer you have now. That's the point. Anyway, right. Irving Berlin, Waiting at the End of the Road. Nobody plays this. Lovely tune. Check it out. waiting at the end of the road from Irving, Berlin. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Friday night is bloody painful organ playing music night tonight. It's my own fault, so I will have to live with it. I hope it will be slightly better for tomorrow. I have various things to do tomorrow. I have to do some work on the car. Then I have to go and play my church service in Hirschbach. Then I have a private choir gig after the church service. And then at 10 o'clock tomorrow night, we're going to have the final countdown. We're going to have the final countdown to the crowdfunding campaign, thingy bob, 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 dib, bob, bob, which is going to be good fun. And there's a prize to be won. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can win a sample set, or maybe 2, or maybe 3. Definitely 1. Join us tomorrow night then for some sampling fun here at the organ. And then, of course, we'll be back on Sunday. It's September on Sunday. It's the 1st of September. Bloody hell. 1st of September on Sunday. And we will have a Sunday night as organ music night. Back, hopefully, to some repertoire. That's at least the plan. It all depends on this little digit here. We shall see. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for chipping in. And we will see you all tomorrow. Let's have this. Fats Waller. No, let's not have that. Yes, let's do have that. Everyone thinks this is not Fats Waller, but we know it is. You made me what I am today. The curse of an aching heart. Fats Waller. See you tomorrow.